welcome to another episode of
The Epic Family Road Trip.
Now we have something very special for you this week.
We're doing a two-part series taking you through the inside and outside of our RV.
And we're going to try to answer that question we get very often. How do all five of you live in such a small space?
How do we?
Good question. So 2.5 years ago we set out on this epic family road trip, and we bought this vehicle brand new, and at the time it was the perfect size for us. The kids were actually at least a foot shorter than they are now. They've grown a lot since we started, and I think we're at the max of what we could do with this vehicle. The beds just fit the kids now. In fact, their feet are sticking out the window at night. Not quite, but it's getting close. It is a tight space. I mean, we have learned over the last 2.5 years to live together and to work together in this small space and to really give each other the room they need. Think about it. We're cooking in here. We're washing up in here and showering and living, watching a movie together at night, eating dinner. But the reality is, a lot of people ask me, I just can't picture all five of you living in that little 24-foot RV. And the reality is that we really don't live in here. We live out there. We live outside. We are very active. We like hiking and mountain climbing and rock climbing and surfing and snowboarding and mountain biking. Did I miss anything?
A few things.
There are all kinds of activities that are outside. So really this is a transportation vehicle for us. It is a place where we sleep. It's a bunkhouse. And we cook outside a lot too, sometimes inside if the weather's bad. So it's not like we're living in here all squished together in 240 square feet. We really have sacrificed having a big house for a small house, but what that has given us is a huge backyard. Now, when you ask yourself, what do you want to do in life? For instance, when we got together 2.5 years ago and said, man, wouldn't it be amazing to go travel around and see new places, new countries, and experience new cultures and new foods, and hike through the Grand Canyon, or climb a mountain in Oregon, or surf on the South Pacific. We really were excited about the prospect of doing that, but we had to ask the second question, and I think you have to ask the same question. If you ask what you want to do, the second question is, what are you willing to give up in order to get that? And so in order for us to be able to do that, we had to give up all that free space. You might say, I really like having my own bedroom, but you might have to give up your own bedroom in order to have a smaller vehicle so you can travel all over the place. So when you're making your plans for your epic family road trip, always ask those two questions. What do we want to do, and what are we willing to give up in order to get it? And so we've had to give up things. We share a bathroom. Us boys, we come second. We've had to learn to let the girls go first and to have the mirror and whatever they want, and we can rough it outside a bit, right guys? Yeah. So there's sacrifices you make, of course. But when you make those sacrifices, it also opens the doors to all kinds of other opportunities and amazing, amazing adventures, which we've had and we really hope to have more of as we continue on the epic family road trip.
Now I'm going to kick the boys out of here and we're going to start the tour.
Guys, let's go make some s'mores.
So come on in and we'll show you around our RV. So to start off, I guess it's appropriate to start off with the door. There are some pretty great things about this door that make it pretty cool compared to normal doors, I guess. There is a screen, which is pretty easy to detach, so you can actually have one door open and just have the screen closed, which is convenient for whenever you're in camp spots that have a lot of mosquitoes. And then they clip together when you close both of them. And then there's a privacy blind that just comes down, clips there.
This is our kitchen that has served us for 2.5 years, and with 3 growing teenagers, it has done a lot for us, and I'm really impressed with it. First off, my favorite thing is that there's 2 sinks, not just one, because I can use it as prep space, and they're deep sinks too. The nice thing too is these are cutting boards, which is fantastic, especially with the kids helping me in the kitchen. They don't always grab the cutting board out from underneath, so I know nothing is going to get scratched up on here. The stove top is fantastic. I love how it has a small burner and a big burner, so I can have two things going on at one time. It just works great. It has a backsplash and then also the splash up here, so if I'm doing bacon or something like that, it's just awesome. The fan is here, and then we always open up the window when we're doing a big cook. So as a family, you know, you collect tons of different cups, shakers, all sorts of things. So I like to keep a variety, obviously shakers, coffee cups. I have all my plastic cups back there. I always like to keep some paper with us just in case. So over the years, things have moved around. We've learned what to do and what not to do. We've always overloaded in the beginning the middle drawer, so it would be constantly breaking. So now the middle drawer serves as more lighter for all of our herbs, spices, peanut butters, things like that. Before that, I would have all my cans and basically my pantry in here. And that's a big no-no. It did not hold up to that at all. Then we have the cutlery. And then all of my big pots, everything kind of just gets thrown down in there. So this is what I have done instead of using the pantry here, is I've moved it here because this is a lot more sturdy and actually it's more convenient. We used to have books and things up here, but they move all their homeschool stuff underneath their beds. So I have pantry all in here, and they're deep, really nice. And more pantry. We do a lot of shakes because we're on the road, a lot of driving, a lot of backpacking. So that just helps when you're doing long hauls. And then this is from electronics, games, anything from tape to pens. This is our fridge. It's not huge, but it works really well. And the thing I like a lot about it is I can hit this button and I can switch it from propane to electric or to battery. And I think that's really cool for just different situations that we may be in. The freezer here isn't huge, again, but I've just learned to take the meat or anything that I'm freezing and bag it, and then it just stacks up really nicely in there. And this is our fridge. You can tell it's packed pretty full. It always is. And we actually have started using a cooler to help us out with that. So this cooler is an Orion cooler. It's a 45 and it's awesome. We can use it as an extra chair. It actually holds ice for so long. I mean, at least 5 days, and that's with people opening and shutting it constantly. So this has been a big lifesaver and we just love it. The next part that's really, really awesome is where everything is. So with a touch of a finger, I can check the tanks. I don't have to go outside. And yeah, so that's really convenient. I can also turn and start the generator on and off from here, the electric water heater and the LP heater, and then also the pump. I can turn it on or off from all in here. And it's just great. No going outside in the rain or going, oh, I wonder what our tanks are at, or if I want to do dishes. I always just check everything out first. This is where we do the slide out. This is the LP, so I can turn it on and off if we're going on a ferry. So this is great. This is when you're in cooler weather. It's awesome. You turn that on and it's a heater going over your water tanks, which is great. And this is your battery power. So you can turn it off, on, check it. Right now it's at 13.5, which is great. That's exactly where we want it. I also use this area to store my coffee, different teas, just handy dandy stuff up there. So this is our convection oven, and it's worked really well. Here you can see we have it where we can cook on the tray here, and we can also make cookies or just anything really. It's a fun thing to have, popcorn, boiling some tea water. So I've moved the cooler away, and this is where all of Peter's work clothes, a lot of our shoes, and basically everything goes. It's the magic dresser, I guess. Magic closet. So you can see how stuffed full it is because all of our work clothes are here, and then our shoes are stacked up. I think there's even a few snowboarding helmets back in there. So if you're looking for something, it's probably here or under the bed. But it's awesome. I mean, it's really, really deep, as you can tell from over here. So, and it also has a hanger it's really neat. So, and this is where I keep the coffee maker. It's not too ideal, but it gives me lots of counter space this way. And it also has a very powerful plug-in too down here. So I also will plug in the crock pot down here actually on the floor, again, to give counter space for 5 people. Welcome to our bedroom. This bed is a double bed, and it's awesome how they've thought of everything here. This is a huge storage. As you can see, I keep a lot of stuff under here. There's 5 bows and 5 backpacks, wetsuits on that side, and all the hiking gear that you could ever imagine. We have Christmas decorations here, a crock pot, all of our paperwork, some PlayStations, fly rods. I mean, you name it, it's down here. It's basically the basement. That's what we like to call it. But it is so handy because we don't have to go outside to get anything. We can just lift it up right here. But there is access from outside to get underneath the bed, which is awesome to me. So here you can see the 2 lights for reading. And again, Winnebago has thought of a lot of stuff because Peter can lift his side of the bed up and it splits right here, and he can read at night and I can be laying down sleeping. And that's really, really cool. Or we can both put it up if we're watching a movie, and it just makes it neat, I think. So we have bookshelves. Peter's constantly reading, and a nice plug-in so we can charge up our phones up on the shelf there. And then we also have the night out, which makes it super, super dark. And the curtain that goes around to make it a privacy curtain, basically. So up in our rooms, we have to be very creative. Thanks to Caroline, she does a lot of help with organizing, and you do have to be really, really organized and know where everything is all the time. So I'm really happy about that. Everything's kind of labeled. This is Peter's. So we like to use these fabric boxes. You can get them anywhere, Walmart, Marshalls, and we just label them. So we have from like long sleeves, shorts, I mean, you name it, it's there. And it just helps hold everything in place too. And if I need to take it down, it's only one and not having all the clothes fall on top of each other. We've learned the hard way with that. So yeah, that's really, really nice. Also, we use these for holding extra socks or hiking gear because that's how we pack our backpacks anyways. So we just keep everything really, really simple.
So this is where we get ready. An awesome thing about this area is that it's outside of where the toilet and the shower are, so whoever's getting ready doesn't have to worry about being in the way of anyone that has to go to the washroom. Another awesome thing about it is that there's tons of storage and room to keep everything that we need. There's cupboard space underneath the sink. Lots of counter space to keep all our toothbrushes and hairbrushes. This tea towel hanger where we keep our face towels, and underneath we keep a few of our accessories. And a little tip I have is to use a carabiner to hang all of your hair elastics and things to keep them from being loose. Then up here is where our mirror is. Behind it is some shelf storage where we keep all our face products and lotions and things like that. Then right next to it are 2 shelves where we keep our perfumes and colognes and things like that. So everything is in a really nice compact space, so you can get ready really fast and efficiently. And here is the washroom. So on the back, we stuck these 2 little removable hangers so that you can hang up towels and things like that. Here I have my makeup bag. We have the toilet and a shower, which we do use if we need to, but most of the time we just use it for storage, and we take showers at campgrounds that we're at. But we have a lot of space in here for extra storage. We hang up our coats in there. We have some totes down there with extra gear. There's a towel rack and things to hang stuff up on, our hats and everything like that. Another great thing are these fabric shoe organizers to hang up all your shoes, because that's one thing we do have a lot of, and they take up a lot of space, so that really helps. We also have the lights up there, this nice skylight with a fan so you can get fresh air, some vents, you have plug-ins, And the light, as you can see, it's not very big, but it's just enough space. We have our broom in here. Whatever is hanging up in the shower kind of changes depending on what country or state we're in or whatever the weather or season is. So right now we kind of just have miscellaneous light jackets and hiking backpacks because it's almost summer and sometimes it's cool outside. But during the winter, that is going to be full of all our snowboarding gear, all our helmets and things like that, so that they're accessible. And whenever we're in a place where we're going to be biking a lot, all our biking helmets are hanging up in there. So it's always changing, but it's really a great place for storage. So this is one of my favorite parts of the RV. It's one of my favorite places to come and edit videos, edit pictures. This is where we do our homeschool, where we watch movies and relax, where we eat dinner. And this is actually what turns into my brother's bed. So it's pretty cool how it can change from this into a bed in a matter of seconds. Okay, so now Dan is gonna take it away and show you how he sets down his and Peter's bed, which turns from this table into their sleeping quarters.
It's super simple. All you need to do is twist the knob to loosen the table off the pole that holds it up. It comes loose. Pop it off. This part's sort of hard. Just twist it. Set it under. Grab the table, and then you can see there's little slots on both sides, and this is what you want to rest the table onto. It just slides in. And then the cushions for your back on both of the sides come out and become the cushions for this part of the bed. But one thing you need to remember, which we didn't know for about 2 years while we were using this, is we'd always set these with the gray part down and the leather facing up, like that. But I was sleeping on the side and it'd always slip off and I'd be falling off the bed. But just recently we found out that you actually set the leather down, since it's a bit more sticky, and it stays on a lot better, and it's flatter, so it's not like you're sleeping on a big bump. There you go, it's all ready.
So the cool thing about this couch is there's 3 sections conveniently because there's 3 kids in our family, and each of us have our own cupboard to keep our clothes because they all open up with storage underneath. So this one's for my clothes, and each of my brothers are on the outside. The great thing about this RV is that there's tons of windows, so you can have a great view of everywhere that you're camping, because normally you're camping in some pretty amazing places. So here we have 2 different blinds. This one is a sunshade, and then this one is a privacy shade, which we use at night, and it just helps make the whole place really cozy. And also, one of our favorite parts about this couch is that you can slide these up on either side, and it becomes a footrest for both anyone sitting here and in the chairs. Okay, so now I'm going to show you my room. So it's quite small than the typical bedroom, but I absolutely love it. So this is my bed. It has a lot more space than it looks, and it's super comfortable. It has these really nice privacy curtains, which makes it feel a little bit more like my own bedroom. And we like to keep all of our bedding up here. Like, this is my brother's bedding, but it just is a nice place to keep it out of the way. So the majority of the space in my room is taken up by camera gear, like our camera bags, our tripods, our audio, because it's a really convenient place for me to be taking it in and out of my room since we're filming all the time. Over closer to where I sleep, I keep stuff like a bin with all of my main hiking gear and hats and things like that, just some of my favorite stuff. I keep my biking helmet up there, just water bottle, whatever I use the most. I have a doTERRA box up there because that's one of my favorite things in the world is essential oils. So yeah, I really love doTERRA oils, and I store them up in my room. Then I just have my journals and books because I love reading and I'm constantly trying to read, and it's one of the best things to do on the road. And yeah, just all my stuff. So on either end of my bed is a window, which is really great because throughout the past 3 years of traveling, one of my favorite memories has always been just laying in bed and looking at the view of wherever we're parked, like falling asleep to the view of Alaska at 12 o'clock at night and it being bright as day outside was pretty crazy, or just having your view, the California coast, and to go to bed to is just amazing. So I love that there's 2 windows to have fresh air and to have an amazing view. I have a nice reading light up there. Like I said, I love to read, so it's perfect. So right here is the ladder that would be typically used to get up into the bed, but I honestly don't really use it. I just step up on the couch, which is probably why we need to get it reupholstered at some point soon. And honestly, the reason why we have a blanket there. But anyways, we have the ladder here, and we mostly use it just to hang things on. It's pretty convenient for hanging your jackets on to grab on the way out the door. And up here is our skylight, which is great for natural lighting and fresh air. And it has a nice net up here so bugs don't get in. And it also has a full shade. And the button's right here just to open and close it. It's super simple. And a tip, do not leave it open when you're gone, because that's a really easy way for people to break in. And also, don't leave it open if you think it's gonna rain, because your stuff will get soaked. Okay, so to finish off the inside tour of the RV, I'm gonna go around and show you some of the ways that we organize it. Now, moving from living in a house a couple of years ago to an RV was definitely a big change. So we had to learn a lot of different things. We had to learn how to keep things organized when you're moving and stuff is falling, and when you open up a drawer, stuff comes crashing down. You learn a lot of things to keep things from doing that. We still haven't got it down perfect, but there are so many people in the community of RVing that have so many great tips on organization and storage that we definitely can learn from, and we have learned from to get where we are now. And we hope that whatever storage we use can be a little helpful for anyone that's starting out or going out on their own trip or living full-time in the RV. And I also get a lot of awesome cleaning and organization inspiration from my friend Catherine Vogtberg, who is known as Now That I'm a Mother here on YouTube and Instagram. She is just so awesome with organization and storage and cleaning inspiration and so much more, and so much awesome advice. So I highly recommend you go subscribe to her YouTube channel. She uploads every single Thursday, and go follow her on Instagram. I really hope you go check her out. So first of all, one of the main things that we had a problem with was our kind of spice and bread drawer, because stuff was always just getting kind of shoved in there and piling up, and it was really hard to find stuff. So one thing that I learned, especially from Catherine, was to have different dividers in your drawer. So we bought these, and in each of them, they fit really perfectly into our drawer, but in each of them we keep different things. So in one we keep spices, in the other one we keep packets, and then in the other one we keep things like peanut butter in larger containers, and then on the side we keep whatever fits, like tea and stuff like that. And it works really well, so when you're moving, stuff doesn't slide around and get mixed up or spill, because we definitely had a few spills in there. This little thing is really cute. We just bought it the other day, actually, because we just were looking at different ways to keep our RV more organized, and it just keeps some of your more essential items out on the counter, easy and accessible, and it also looks pretty cute. So salt and pepper shakers, lighters, which we use quite often to start fires, start the barbecue, and just spoons and whatever. And behind the TV, which is notorious for things falling out and crashing down because it's just full of all of our gear. So we have it pretty organized now. We have some walkie-talkies, which are awesome for when you're at campgrounds. We have a DVD player, Apple TV, our Rogers internet for when we're in Canada, some DVDs, and then we keep most of our movies up in these DVD cases, which are super handy if you like to watch movies. Definitely get these little DVD cases for when you're on the road. So something we started doing is using this little container. It's actually an office supplies or pen holder container, but we started using it to organize and store our TV remotes because we were always losing them in all the little nooks and crannies of the RV. So this is a really simple and easy way to keep them all in one place and keep them easy to find. So something that has also been super helpful for us is having a little hook right next to our door to hold all of our keys. So since we have two vehicles, we're towing one behind behind our RV we have 2 sets of keys, which we were always losing. So having this little hook here where we would hang them or whenever we were going in and out became a really good habit, so we always know they're right there and we know where to get them. So for storage underneath the sink, it's pretty simple. There's nothing too fancy about it, but it works really well. And we just use really minimal things. So we have our trash bin there. We have this one little storage rack where we keep all of our like plastic things, like our wraps and stuff underneath. We have all our rags and things, cleaning supplies. We hang a lot of our cleaning sprays and stuff up on this little pipe here. So yeah, having one of these little storage racks is really helpful for under the sink storage. Then up in this cabinet, we used to just cram all of our wires, all of our supplies and everything up here, all of our camera gear and electronics, just everything was up here, and stuff would just be crashing out all the time, especially when we were driving, and whenever we would open it, we would always have to have a hand down under here so that if anything fell out, it wouldn't fall on somebody, and that has happened on a couple of occasions. So using these plastic bins has been a lot more of a help, and not only with helping with that situation, but also helping with being able to find our gear, because since we're always filming, we want to know where all of our GoPro gear is, where all of our batteries and chargers are. In here we keep all of our games and stuff, so it's a really great thing to have for finding everything really easily and keeping it organized. This here is actually just a wooden cutlery organizer, but we use that to hold all of our office supplies and school supplies. So those are just a few simple ways to keep your drawers organized. Okay, so for our clothes drawers, we found a pretty simple hack to keep your clothes organized. So before this, my drawer, it looked like a tornado went through it or something, because it was just piled on top of each other. There's a couple different ways you can do this probably, but we found that using these simple fabric collapsible bins to organize and separate your clothes is a really simple way to do it. So I keep all of my sweaters kind of on top, just with the things I'm reaching for the most. And then I just have different ones for my pants, for my shirts. The smaller ones I use for like swimwear, undergarments and stuff. And it's just really an awesome way to maximize a small amount of space. So then here is our heating and AC panel, where we can control our room temperature whenever we're in different climates. And it's in a really nice accessible place, so that's really nice. And yeah, it's just a really great thing to have since we're constantly driving through different climates, different temperatures. Sometimes we can drive through like 4 different seasons in one day, so it's a really great thing to have, especially when we're camping in different places all the time as well. So then this is the cab of the RV. It has the passenger and driver's seat, which are actually very comfortable. As you can see, they're quite worn after about 3 years of driving around the country on them, but they are still really, really nice. They are swivel chairs and everything. This one is affectionately known as the throne or the captain chair. This is where our dad sits. So yeah, now my dad is going to take it away. He's going to talk about the cab of the RV and the rest of the RV from the outside.
We really hope you enjoyed part 1 of our RV tour. Part number 2, where we walk around the outside and talk about all the equipment, is listed up here somewhere. There will be a link. Just click on that and enjoy part 2. Thank you to all of our subscribers. We really enjoy having you on board. If you have any questions or you have a request for a video that you'd like us to do, or you have questions that can go into our Q&A video that we're planning on doing pretty soon, make sure you post them and we'll curate them and get them all together and try to answer all those questions in our next video. And in the meantime, we'll see you down the road. Fireplace. Firefighter, man.